It's exactly 5 minutes after 8 a.m. here in the studio of A1 Radio 101.1. Welcome to the conversation segment. The song you heard on the background is being performed by Lamisi Akuka. She is, the title of the song is Zahanga, meaning a dream. We all have dreams, yes, and it's good to dream because your dreams are actually more or less like blueprints that's leading you to a destination. The Upper East has a dream. Individually, we have a dream. And I believe one of the dreams of the Upper East region, people within the Upper East region, is to see a region that has part level of development, region that has good roads, region that has good medical facilities, a region that has all the qualities. It has the medical doctors available, teachers available, a region where the rural urban drift is going to be minimized. And that is what we are all pushing for, to have this region where we call our home the safe haven for us. So from now till 10 a.m. we'll be having series of conversations here on A1 Radio. Yesterday we started talking about the situation of roads, especially within the Bulsa enclave, Buluk. My friend and colleague Sami had covered up a demonstration that was ongoing at the Bulsa South district, and he came back lamenting about the nature of roads there. And Bulsa North municipality, the youth there are also going to embark on the same kind of demonstration on the nature of poor roads within that enclave. And so we'll be speaking to the convener, the lead for this demonstration, and then once we are able to speak to him, we'll get to understand the motive and the rationale behind all this. When the demonstration is going to take place, have they secured permits to undertake this demonstration, and what is their expectation at the end of the day? Joining me on phone this morning is Solomon Ajudiok. He is a convener of the demonstration. Solomon, good morning. Thanks for making time to speak to me.
Morning, sir.
Tell us about the intended demonstration that is going to take place on the 23rd of February.
Thank you very much for reaching out. Please, it's just as simple as that, because we looking at the road from Chuchuga to Uezi is very terrible. And, every day we've been complaining. Seems like it's not going anywhere. So, because of that, we, the youth, and particularly me myself, I'm a content creator on Facebook. And most people in Buluk know who I am. So I took it upon myself to do this for the people of Buluk, not for myself.
So it's not for content creation, but to send out a message, the plight of the people of Buluk. Is that what we get?
Exactly, sir.
Right. But we were told that you were supposed to join, you were expected to have joined the group in Bulsa South to have demonstrated on the same issue. Was it deliberate that you chose to opt out of that demonstration? To have yours separately, or it's a planned thing between the two organizers?
Oh, frankly speaking, I did this month. But then my plans and everything was just in place. So I was like, okay, if that is the case, once they are doing it, and we are two different administrative units, Busa South and Busa North. We are all Busas and we are all fighting for the same thing. So if they even do it at that place and we do it here too, it is just a way of letting people know that we are very serious about what we are facing. So it's not a planned thing, but I plan to do it for the people of Buluk. First, I wanted to do it in Sandema first, on the 23rd, then on the 24th, we'll do it at Fombisi, because Fombisi is the district capital for Busa South, and Sandema is for the Busa North. We can't come together to do it once, because looking at the distance and the cost of, conveying people from Fombisi to Sandema and all that, it was going to cost much. So I plan to do it differently,
right,
with the same aim.
What has been the reception from the general youth population and then the entire Bulsa North municipality to this announcement of a demonstration?
Oh,
to fix that.
I can say everybody is very happy about it, because I was at the Bulsa Radio, that was 2 days ago. And when people called, you could see everybody was happy. I was in town yesterday meeting some 2 or 3 groups and we were talking about it and everybody was happy. But their problem was that they are afraid if I should also disappoint them like what happened in BC. So I also give them the assurance that we are not going to disappoint them this time. So everybody is very happy about it.
Can you refresh our mind? What exactly happened in Fumbisi?
When I came, they were told that on the 17th it was not going to be possible because the police that were supposed to help them with the supervision were not up to the number who could oversee, let's say, guide them through the whole process. So they opted for a press conference instead of the peaceful demonstration. So when I even came around and I sent my letters to the police, they were also suggesting that if we could do it on the 27th of March, that was the day they could organize people to help us with the organization. So I was like, okay, if that is the case, I'll give you a letter. So if you have a different suggestion, write it formally to me. Tell me these are the reasons why you want us to do it on this day. And I'll also see if it's going to help me or not. Because if you look at it, we are not seeking for permit. We are only notifying the police. It is our right to notify them, not to seek for permit. So clearly, they don't even need to give us a permit. We are only notifying them. This is what we want to do. It's peaceful. Nobody's carrying a gun or cutlass or something to go and do anything. So if you are giving me a different day, suggesting a different day to me, which I think is not going to help me, look at the engagements I had. I came from radio to radio, TV stations, engaging with the local chiefs and organizations and all that. Then if you are telling me you are suggesting a different day, which is like a month's difference, what am I going to tell these people?
Has this intent to demonstrate for the Brook roads to be fixed misinterpreted to be politically motivated?
Exactly. That is the problem we are having here. And I always tell people that is why I have decided to do this alone. Because the moment you bring 2 or 3 people inside, then everything is just going to be messed up. Because when I came, hearing from people, they are saying, you are being sponsored by NPP. I remember I was interviewed on Busa Radio, and they asked the question, if it's the NPP that is sponsoring me to do this whole thing, I was like, no. If anybody can say, oh, I've given this guy 1 fee to do this, the person should just call and say, yes, I give you money. It is something I was like.
But don't you think the people also making these presumptions may be right, considering that the road was unfixed during the tenure of the NPP, and you were a citizen of Bullock then, and they didn't see an action from you? Are they wrong?
Nobody's wrong. Nobody's wrong and nobody's right. Now the issue is, we have a voice.
All right.
When NPP was in power, maybe I was not having the voice. And that time I remember I used to talk about it, but my voice was not heard much. So if you, let me tell you something about that. This whole thing happened when I was small. I used to be part of this drama. We have this drama culture at our place.
All right.
When another body came to do the same thing, he told us when he comes, he's going to fix the roof for it. As Amis also said the same thing. Mama also said the same thing. But this year, during the last elections, I took part in voting. Because I saw that Mama said when we vote for him this time, he was coming to fix the road for us, and he started it before he left office.
Right.
So if I should vote for him to come and fix my road for me, and it's a year now, I'm not saying anything. Don't you think I have the right to ask him for why my road is not being fixed up to this time?
Have you peradventure tried to reach out to the leading representatives of Busa North and South in Parliament? I mean, the members of Parliament, to see the advanced stage of their negotiations for government to get the road fixed?
See, one thing, that's why I said this is not a political thing.
Right.
If I reach my point on the 20th, I think my consent and they will come and answer. This is not the first time. Just this December, our MP said our road was part of this big push project. If it is part, it is not. And you give an assurance that ending of by ending of January, this new month, which is February, you are going to start working on the road. This is getting to the end of the month. What are we seeing? Nothing. So do you think if I engage them, I'll get a good result and I'll be able to also to talk to people for them to do this demonstration? You won't. They'll try to convince you. So this is not a political thing.
Right.
It's something that I saw that we are being affected badly. And we have to do this. Let the world know that, yes, we are suffering.
So when is this demonstration taking place?
On the 23rd, which is Monday coming.
So is that... Okay.
The Sandema Sports Stadium. That is where we are going to meet, so that we'll brief the general public as to what to do and what not to do.
So is there a petition you are going to hand over to the MCE afterwards, or you just want to go on a peaceful demonstration on the streets with placards?
We are going to present a petition to the minister, the president, through the MCE of Busa North. And after that, I know he is somebody who is representing the president in Bulukia. So from there, after we are done with this one, we are going to do where we'll go to the Minister of Roads and Highways to present another petition.
Right.
That way, that means we are just handing over our petition to the road minister, seeking for answers.
Right.
So from here, we are going to do another one to Ataka. So that is the plan.
Solomon, I wanted to let you go, but maybe my listeners, for some, may not have a clear picture of how terrible the road situation in Buluk is. Could you paint a picture for us? How bad or worse is the road situation?
It's more than bad or worse. From Chitruga to Sandema. It's a little bit like, when you look at it, it's somehow okay.
It's more trouble.
It's somehow okay, but from Wiaga to Fumbisi, it's like a death trap. The roads are very stony, dusty. I don't even know how to describe it. It's something like worse. So when you look at it, I don't know if our people don't pass there or something. And those who are always saying, oh, we should wait more, government just came in. But if you are serious about this thing, look at the people whose houses are just by the road. You know the number of that, the amount of that they inhale every day. But we are just quiet. So the situation is more than bad. So you have to describe it.
Right. Solomon, we are grateful for speaking to us this morning. We are hoping that this demonstration gets the voice and then the needed action that the youth of Buluk expected to get.
Okay, sir.
Right. So that was Solomon Ajudiok. Yeah, that was Solomon Ajudiok. He is the lead convener for the Fix Buluk Roads. Yes, it's a demonstration that is currently so we had one on the 17th and we're having another one on Monday, and it's not going to end. The youth are saying that they are going to keep demonstrating till they get the needed attention. And as you heard from Solomon's description, that it is worse from Wiaga to Fumbisi. We are still talking about the nature of our roads, and as I intimated earlier, it is a dream, and the youth of that is Bulsa North Municipality and Bulsa South District, have a dream, and their dream is to see their roads asphalted with bitumen, to see their roads motorable, that will allow free movement without stress. Someone say, but they're not moving. They are moving, but Charlie, the stress involved there. Charlie, we can't talk about it on air. I just wish we could get one of the drivers who ply that road to call this particular number to describe the nature of the road. So if you're a driver and you ply on the from BC Road, you can call the studio number and share your experience of the terrible nature of the road. 0382 091508 0382 095566, and then we'll get interactive. So we have Benjamin Atwasi. He is the Deputy Communications Officer for the NDC Regional in the Upper East Region, joining us on phone to have a conversation with regards to the 24-hour economy bill that was ascended, sent to by the President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, following the parliamentary passing of the bill. What should Ghanaians make of this? Is this the key to unlocking the potential that Ghana needs to be completely independent? I mean, when it comes to our economy. So, Benjamin, very good morning. It's been a while.
Good morning, my brother, and thank you for having me.
Where have you been hiding?
I've not been hiding. I've been around. Just that it's been a while we've engaged on your platform.
Talk to us about the 24-hour economy bill. The president has assented his signature to it. Now it is in full fledged, and Ghanaians are expecting to understand it. For now, we still haven't gotten the policy document. We went on the parliamentary website to see if we can get one, but we still haven't. But you talk to us about this bill and why it is the game changer.
Okay, so once again, I want to extend my regards to you and your listeners for making time to listen to us this morning. Like you've rightly said, the president has assented to the 24-hour authority bill, which is a good news for the Ghanaian private sector and Ghanaians at large, because preceding the 2024 elections, the NDC had adopted its manifesto, and in it was inclusive the proposal or the promise to, as it were, implement a 24-hour economic program if Ghanaians voted for us. And indeed, Ghanaians listened to us and they bought into the idea and they voted for us. So the 24-hour economic authority has come to, as it were, to be the engine and the framework to which the whole policy is going to ride on to deliver whatever outputs that the Ghanaian economy deserves. And for many who tried to play mischief with the 24-hour policy and said it was not going to be possible and that it was a mirage and it was not going to happen, this is a step to justify or to prove that the 24-hour economy is not a mere rhetoric, but it is something that it is feasible. It is something that the president will want to implement. It is something that is doable. And we think that the deliverables and the outcomes will be something that Ghanaians will be happy about.
Talk to us. Okay. Continue. Yes. You continue.
So the 24-hour economy is a private sector-led program or policy. What government seeks to do is to provide the platform or the framework with which they can operate. So government will give incentives in terms of tax rebates, in terms of cheaper electricity, in terms of giving land where land is needed. Government is going to also facilitate and make sure that roads or access roads that are linking agro-processing industries and also the markets are also constructed. We have the 24-hour markets that will come up so that the produce do not remain only in the farms. They can get to the markets that we want them to be. So the 24-hour economy is a private sector-led policy, but it is going to be anchored on government providing the competitive and conducive environment for the private sector to operate. If you look at the free zones enclave, which was an idea for people to come in or an incentive to attract investors into the country. It's just a similar thing where you have the businesses come to set up, they are given tax rebates where they are not paying higher taxes, which will cripple their businesses. They are given other incentives that other people elsewhere will not get that incentive. So that is what will attract the investors to come. So it's similar to that of the 24-hour economy policy. So that is going to open up Ghana to the private sector investing more. And someone will ask, what will be the end result of these investment or these incentives that government is going to cut most of its incomes or revenue to attract? In fact, we have a higher, unemployment situation in the country. When the private sector engages more in the 24-hour economy, their operations definitely will go up, their output will go up, and therefore they will need more hands to come and do their work. So definitely the young people or the youth that are not employed will be employed. We also have a situation where our city will be stabilized because we are going to send out whatever that we are producing here, add value to it, not in its raw form, and bring back dollars into the country where our city is going to be stabilized. We are also going to have a situation where our roads are going to get better because we are going to have the roads connecting the hard to reach areas to the towns. If you look at, for example, some of the things that we import into this country, it is not something that we do not have the capacity or we do not have the expertise or knowledge or to do it. For example, Yamadia, for example, where you have to go out and go and import. Is it that we can't have these animals? If you come to even the northern sector, we can produce with goats, sheep, cattle for that purpose. So why do we have to spend as much as 2.6 billion Ghana cedis as of 2025 to import Yamadia alone? If you look at share oil, look, share is grown in Ghana. We have share here. But we send the raw beans outside. They produce and extract oil and sell the oil back to us. As of 2025, we spend almost 38.95 billion Ghana cedis on share oil alone. Why don't we add value to it in Ghana here so that dollars that we are going to send out to bring in the share oil, it is retained here so that our currency becomes stable. For example, if you are sending this money out there, you are creating jobs for people outside Ghana, which is not going to help us. So what the 24-hour economic policy seeks to do is that it is going to focus on a value addition too. So you are investing in agriculture, you are investing in agro-processing, you are investing in manufacturing, and you are investing on value addition. So that is what is going to create the jobs. That is also what is going to drive our economic growth. And that is what is going to make our city stable.
Right, Benjamin. Very, very elaborated there. But let's come home to the Upper East region. For many people who have received the news of the 24-hour economy, the excitement and euphoria around it initially was very heightened. But then comes the announcement of the 24-hour economy market for the Upper East region. And now people begin to ask questions. How can we, the people want to know, how is this 24-hour economy market in the Upper East region visible? What prior research or study was conducted to agree or come to the conclusion that the region or the municipality or the districts within the region actually need this 24-hour economy market, which are going to drive the economy as you've made us to understand?
Look, markets are not new to the NDC. You know, in the previous Mills Mahama administration, we put up the Kotokraba market, Mahama to we'll put up the KJTR markets, we'll put up the Asafo market and other markets around the Ashanti region. What was the rationale or the purpose of these markets? You realize that some of the traders sometimes do not even have storing facilities for some of these things that they will want to bring to the markets. Some of them want to import, some of them want to procure or buy more of the stock, and they are able to sell. They do not have these facilities. So what the 24-hour markets are coming to do is to provide that enabling environment, conducive environment for these traders, for these businesses, for these private people to be able to do their businesses without the bottlenecks that they encounter now. For example, you get to the markets today, there is rain, everybody runs away. Is that what we want? Business is distracted and a whole lot of things. You get to the market today, you are pressed up. You want to ease yourself. There's no place of convenience. Is that not what we want today? There is fire in the market today. You do not have a fire service tender standing by to take care of those things.
Right.
These are modern markets that are going to have all those ancillary facilities so that they will help create the environment that these private people need to do their businesses without any problem. Whether or not there's research, everything is not done in a vacuum. We've realized that these farm produce that come from the villages sometimes come in there, but the lack of these facilities or lack of the space for these people to operate is what hinders their job. So this will come to create that environment for those people to operate without a problem.
Right.
And the 24-hour economy, in terms of the infrastructure development, is not going to focus on only markets, like I said. It's also going to look at the transportation system, roads inclusive. For example, you want to carry your farm produce from the villages or from the hard-to-reach areas, from the farms to the markets. The roads linking are very poor, so you end up losing some of the yields because of the inaccessible roads that you will have. So this will also make sure that infrastructure in terms of roads are made available so that they can grow. So it is not a 9-day, it's not a one-day thing, it's not an event, it's a process. And the 24-hour economic policy is going to be private sector driven, and is going to be government giving the incentives and the enabling environment to attract businesses or the private sector to invest in it. And the authority is giving that coordination and the legal backing that we will need to operate the 24-hour economy.
Right.
A huge project like that cannot just run without any institution or any agency facilitating and coordinating activities, so that we know that we have a dedicated source of funding that goes into it for that purpose, so that we will not hide it somewhere and another government comes and pretend it doesn't exist.
Right.
This is something that is going to be good for Ghana, and we must embrace it. And an authority is a good call and a good start to have the 24-hour economy. While
you call on the good people of Ghana to embrace this policy, maybe, I don't know, I'm struggling to understand the concept of the 24-hour market because of maybe my understanding of how a 24-hour work. I believe that it is if it's starting from 6 a.m., then it's going on round clock to 6 a.m. Am I wrong to assume that is how the markets are going to operate? Or these markets are just the auxiliary facilities, as you mentioned, being fitted in the markets? And if it's just to have auxiliary facilities fitted in the markets, why are they not going to be fitted in already existing markets, but rather have new projects we just brand with the name 24 hours?
You see, when we mention 24-hour economy, people tend to be fixated more on the three ships.
But that was what was told us, right?
Yes.
Prior to the elections.
And like I told you, it is not an event, it's a process. You don't put up a market today and think that it will run three ships. It is based on the conditions or the environment you will create that will incentivize or give that competitive environment for people to want to operate 24/7. So bringing the market is a start to creating that environment so that you will have the market in there, you will have the private sector coming in, you will have businesses that will definitely operate 24/7. You will not have everybody operating 24. For example, you go to the KGTR market today. There are businesses run the daytime. There are some that run during the night, and there are some that run 24/7.
But we are looking at the Cosmopolitan.
The pharmacies in there never shut down.
We are looking at the Cosmopolitan. We are looking at Kumasi Metro. Yes, nature of Kumasi.
We are going to have agro-processing parks, and it is not going to look. If you go to UK or elsewhere, it is not the whole country that runs the 24/7 system, right?
So
adopt certain cities that will run the 24/7 system. But first of all, you must put the infrastructure and the framework in place. So what I want to say is that let's not be too fixated on the 3 shifts in all contexts.
Okay.
The 3 shift is the ideal. The 3 shift is what we are focusing at. The 3 shift is what we want because it is jobs that it is going to create. But
that is, it's not going to be immediate. The jobs will come, but not immediate.
Exactly. The environment you are going to create will bet that 3-shift system.
Right.
It is not going to be something that government will come and say, today we are running 3 shifts. No. The private sector itself will run the 3 shifts without government even telling it. So it is going to be seamless. It is going to be something that is going to be self-engineered as a result of the incentives that are going to be provided. For example, we said that we are going to give cheaper power, right?
Yeah.
And the cheaper power, we are going to provide meters that are going to be calibrated in such a way that businesses that will want to run 24/7 will have such meters so that if you are operating at night or the peak hours, you are charged lesser than those that will not want to operate.
Right.
So this is enough incentive. You are making savings. So it means that you are going to operate at those hours.
Right.
So once you want to operate at those hours, you will need more hands to do that work at those hours. So you see that environment is making sure that people participate in it and they run 24/7 because they are going to get cheaper power to run 24/7.
Right.
So the markets are a starting point. So, but if you agree that we need markets, then there is no argument to say that we do not need it for the purposes of 24-hour economy. Yes, we need markets. And as to whether we will run 3 shifts in the market will be determined by the environment we are going to create. And that environment is already envisaged, and they've put funding sources to make sure that the private sector take advantage of those opportunities to operate the 24-hour economy.
So I get it that all the districts within the country agree to have this 24 economy market running within their districts. Is that
yes?
There's been an agreement.
But they are in phases.
Okay.
They are going to be in phases. Certainly, you will not have all running construction going on at the same time.
Right.
We are doing it in phases, and by the end of the term of President John Dramani Mahama, would have seen these markets up and running.
Right.
And the country would have been what we all want to see.
Benjamin.
And I think you might even secure some of the shops in the market to do business because everyone needs to do business.
Everyone really needs to do business, and we are grateful for speaking to us. We'll still be having elaborated conversations around the 24-hour economy after we get to read the document. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you for having me, my brother.
Right. Atura. Good morning. Thanks for coming in studio.
Good morning to you. Good morning to everyone.
You heard the entire conversation, and
it's interesting.
Am I wrong to understand that 24 means from 6 a.m. to 6 a.m., 8 a.m. to 8 a.m.? Am I wrong to have that clouding my understanding of the 24-hour economy?
Of course, you are not wrong. I mean, it is the kind of position that everyone understands what a 24-hour economy should be. I mean, something that you find that people trade from 6 in the morning, and then for the following day 6, it continues, doesn't stop. And so the kind of mentality that we got from the entire conversation about 24-hour economy was that we are going to have an economy that's going to run the full cycle and continuously run. And that's why there were issues about shifts in it, because you don't expect the person to work all day without resting. So there were shifts. So the understanding is what we all got.
But you heard him talk about it not being entirely about the shift system. And even if the shift system is going to come, it's not immediate. It's going to be a futuristic thing.
So, Gerard, I mean, if I must say,
Yes.
in this country, there is something that is growing among us. We are able to disassociate what we say on the campaign trail and the real implementation. You may have a fantastic idea, and I think the 24-hour economy is a very fantastic idea. It is something that is transformational. It will help this country if you're able to implement it. But of course, the problem I have with this is that we are trying to fulfill the campaign promise. It is practically impossible. What I see is that over the years, governments have tried to bring in policies that are good, and then in the end, in trying to implement it, they try to follow the campaign promise. That is not practicable. Take for instance, the one village, one dam was a fantastic idea, but it doesn't mean that every village should have a dam. That's the point. You should create dams enough to build the vegetable production in the country, so that we have those bigger dams in so many villages that we can get, and encourage other villages to come closer and do the farming. We can create canals into those areas to do the farming. We don't need to have a conversation where we want to ensure that every village has a dam. It's not going to work. The 24-hour economy is a very fantastic idea. I've heard issues about agri in it, where you want to move it away from just discussion about making an all-round conversation to implementing a policy that will be towards producing. And I heard him say we are trying to transform the economy, but we don't have to transform the economy using the tag 24-hour economy. That's the point I'm making. We can always do what we want to do. There are certain areas that definitely will run. Of course, there are night markets everywhere. These markets don't come out because government has created them, or maybe government has asked people to go and do it. No, this is a demand and supply problem. And when these things are created, they are going to achieve the goals. I don't know why we are consistently trying to pull the campaign problem. It's not going to work. Right. That's my problem. If we push it so much, we will make a lot of mistakes.
It's interesting because for me, I feel, as you mentioned, we just want to have a name on everything tagged 24-hour. So we have 24-hour economy routes. We have, and you're asking, am I trying not to understand this 24-hour economy thing, or do we need to do better? Do we need to move? Let's take, for instance, the market in Bolgatanga. Yeah. Not only Bolga, all 15 districts in the Upper East region are going to benefit from the 24-hour economy market. Separate markets, newly built markets.
So how are you going to ensure that people come there to sell when the demand for the products are not there? So do I have to force myself and go and buy, say, tomatoes at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. because it's a market? I mean, do people in those areas need to run 24 hours as an economy in those enclaves? I don't know. I just think that we have to move away from the campaigning. Look, we can always bring the ideas. They are good. When we're in government, we need to look at it properly and implement it. The people of Ghana are going to appreciate the government that brings an idea, implements it, it works. It should not just be the rhetoric. The fact is that there was a whole campaign around it. I think that even members of the NDC themselves, some of them overreached the campaign and said things that were not supposed to be part of the entire 24-hour economy idea. Okay. We are in power now. What we do now is to dissociate what it was the campaigning and the idea. When we do that, then I think that people are going to appreciate what's happening. But consistently, we are going to build markets. Why do we have to build markets? The 24-hour economy that we see, those facilities that run 24 hours, they are not things that were orchestrated by government. They were demand supply outlets. And then government then comes in to provide a security. There are bars in town that run 24 hours. And because of that, we have a lot of security at particular points to help them. If such people are going to be incentivized, or want to give them maybe interest-free loans, or maybe want to give them loans at subsidized rates, that's fine. But how do we ensure that those people are going to employ people at shifts? Because it doesn't. I don't know why I want to put people at shifts when I know that in particular periods I don't make money. For instance, there's some bars in town that make money actually at night, though they run daytime. They would prefer not to even employ people in the daytime, but to give people at night. So government cannot control that. That's my argument. That's a private person's business. I think that the rhetoric is just overstretching it. 24-hour roads, why? We have to build roads to bring goods from rural areas in order to get them stuck there to town. It should not be because of a 24-hour economy that we're doing that. And we have been doing that over the years.
Is it a situation where we want the tagline 24-hour economy to sink into the minds of Ghanaians to see that we are really putting to bear the campaign promise of a 24-hour economy?
That's what I'm trying to say. I think that the conversations around the campaign promise, but I'm saying that the party is in power. The party ought to communicate what they have to do. Forget about the fact that the party may not even achieve 24-hour economy. But if they put in policies that transform the economy, everyone will see. You see, it is campaign sloganeering. The NDC naturally sang the NDC out of power. That's a fact. Everybody experienced the NDC throughout the campaign. But as the NDC is in power, what it ought to be doing is to be creating the very incentives or the very areas that will transform the economy. It should not be tagged 24 hours. But when you do that, you create an impression that people are going to say you promised that and it's not working. And then you keep forcing it to create something. Because this 24-hour economy market that are coming up now are here is because people have been asking the questions, where is 24-hour economy? The question that people are asking, it is important. And I think that some months, last year, I heard the whole conversation from the president, or I think one of the ministers who said, we want to irrigate the black voter, or was it the white voter, to create more farms around it, and that the whole economy idea. I thought, okay, that's okay. We can be doing that. We want to transform our economy. We should be discussing the things that matter. It is not a campaign any longer.
Is it going to be difficult to take out the 24-hour out of the economy resetting? Because it seems the slogan that has been bought and embraced by the Ghanaian. I asked us to narrow the conversation into the Upper East region because for many who sang the 24-hour economy slogan were optimistic of jobs being created that would run the 1333 shift system that was promised. But we hear that, yes, that was said, but it is not an immediate thing. How, from where you sit, does this have the tendency of staining the trust that the youth have in government?
No, of course. I think politicians over the years have had a problem with trust. You say something on the campaign trail and it gets to implementation, and that's not what you are doing. I admit that the whole concept of 24 hours is a fantastic idea. I think that what is happening now is that there's an attempt to try to force the whole idea onto the people to create an impression that they are achieved. I'm saying that for me, I think that the people of Ghana and the people of Upper East will benefit more if the government strategically positions itself to create a certain economy or a certain transformational economy that will provide jobs, and not simply try to target 24 hours and create an impression that it looks like it's more of a utopian idea more than the fact. What you say 24-hour economy roads? What do you mean? What is it supposed to do? You're going to build roads into particular areas that have goods, or what are you going to do? These are things that have been doing all over these years. I'm saying that the 24-hour economy can implement in particular areas if we want to create incentives.
Was that not the narrative prior to the election, where even from the opposition, their argument was, yes, we can have a 24-hour economy, but it should be specific areas. And Atwase admits to it that even in the advanced countries, the entire country is not under 24-hour economy. So what is it that the NDC is failing to learn? Because the Free Senior High School gives us a typical case study about a government that rushed into implementing a campaign promise, and we saw the challenges that came along the way, though they denied it but eventually admitted it. Are we going to tread down the same path if the NDC fail to look back and learn lessons from previous policies that were poorly implemented?
I mean, we're going there. I mean, I have heard commentary in other areas where they're complaining about the way they want to build the market. These are issues because governments or parties come into power, and then the intention to strictly follow the campaign or the policy is what I have a problem with. There is always going to be a situation where you cannot fulfill all the campaign promises. In fact, in some cases, you don't even know what is in the system before you come to power. So when you come, you have to admit that certain areas are there, you cannot go there, or they're going to be impossible to implement. But I'm saying that in the end, It is the process, it's the things that you do that will matter. If the people of Ghana are able to, we're going to find a situation where we create 11,000 or 11 million jobs every year for citizens, or let me say 11,000 every year. That in itself creates a situation where the people trust the government. It's not about the policy. We don't need to have people running shifts to say that they have jobs. We need to have people want jobs, and those jobs cannot be from government. Private sector are involved. If government has a lot of incentives to push to create factories, to create businesses, and encourage you to go into agriculture and other areas, that will create more jobs. And the people in the end of the 4 year of the president would assess him based on what he has done. It is not bad to say that he had 100 policies and he achieved 50.
Right.
He cannot achieve everything. So we have to admit in certain areas they cannot achieve everything. I don't know why we keep pushing the narrative, trying to force it to make it look like that's going to happen. That is not going to happen. Nobody's going to believe a story about 24-hour economy roads. I mean, I don't know.
How is it going to operate? I believe
the roads are 24 hours.
They're always 24 hours. Someone jokingly said that if maybe the NDC knew they were going to win the election by this margin, some of the promises they made, they would have toned down on some of the promises, because they've given so much expectation and hope to the Ghanaian, the average Ghanaian, that it's not. We have on the line Andrea Tariwine. Andrea Tariwine is he's a former deputy regional communications officer for the NPP, and joining us on phone to also make contribution to the bill, the 24-hour economy authority bill that has been assented to, and then now it is fully fledged. Andrew, I believe you've been following the conversation around the 24-hour economy authority bill. What do you make of it?
Yes. Good morning, Gerard, and thank you. Yes, I have been following keenly. Good morning to our cherished listeners.
The way you are smiling, why? Do you... Let's talk about the bill in total.
Okay.
The president has finally appended his signature to it. It means that the authority is now in full-fledged and it's going to work. What is your take on this? Then we'll come down to the specifics, especially with one of the projects that is gained a lot of questions. But let's begin with your initial commentary around this entire thing. I know you've made some comments around it before, but we still want our listeners to be refreshed in memory.
Well, the concept or the nomenclature given to this particular policy direction is fantastic. It's very, very fantastic. And actually, I must even say that very promising if you look at it by name. But the problem comes into when you are now digging deeper into the application of such a policy in a country like Ghana, knowing the structural deficits that exists within the boundaries of our economy, even in our governance system. That, for me, is where the problem is. And it appears the NDC is now caught pants down because reality is setting in, expectations are not met, and that is where the problem is.
If you say the NDC are caught pants down, what do you mean? They are just rolling it out. We just have the 24-hour economy roads being rolled out. We have the 24-hour economy markets, which are being promised to be built across the country. And then the authority now gives them the opportunity to put together some incentive packages that would attract foreign investors. Why do you think they are caught pants down?
They are caught pants down in the sense that, number one, if you have a monumental policy of that kind that is going to strike across the chord of all that you are doing, you needed to be candid right from the beginning. But we had an understanding as though immediately they assumed power, there was going to be a 24-hour economy, one job, 3 shifts, which is already a facade. Not true. It's not possible in Ghana. That's why I said that the structural deficits that we have in our economic structure in this country doesn't even allow for that to work. And the output of our economy doesn't suggest that we need even that 24-hour economy, in the manner in which the NDC has. So if I say they are caught pants down, I'm talking about the fact that the expectations, just like you rightly said in your commentary, the expectations of Ghanaians regarding this 24-hour economy is not being realized. And what they are about to do with this authority coming into being and now a law around the subject is nothing but just going to play complementary effort to other institutions that have been in existence and nothing significant. I can tell you that the 24-hour economy will not have any significant impact in this country as far as our economic production is concerned. So that is why I say their court stands down. We are going to begin to hear subsequently, and this is my thesis, that we are going to hear subsequently some excuses, some justifications why things haven't gone the way it's supposed to be, and they are going to rely on existing institutions that were already functioning 24 hours to use that as a basis to say that the policy is working. But they are caught pants down. Ghanaians can see through in between the lines, and they understand exactly what the NDC is trying to do.
One of the things that they intend doing as part of the 24-hour economy to boost the economy and turn around the economic fortunes of this nation is to institute a 24-hour economy market. The market specifically. We want to narrow it down to the Upper East region, a region you've grown in. How relevant will this be to the people of the region from where you stood?
It is completely a joke. I saw the ministers, I read, brother, the ministers, our honorable minister, regional ministers, press engagement. And he instituted that some of, I think, the municipal markets, I think, in the region are going to benefit from this particular package. Now, construction of a market, the easiest and the earliest, per the standard they are talking about, should cost you not less than 2 years. And in the statement, I think he cited 2 years, if my memory is right.
Yes.
So 24 calendar months to work on a project. And you know the challenges. Government revenue expectations might not be met. So it means that the projects might not also end at the time that they are talking about. Is that not true?
Mm-hmm.
And that means there might be an extension. We are in 2026. So we are talking about 2026, 2027, eventually taking effect in 2028. At what time will people benefit from this particular market you are talking about? It is a calculated facade. They are using it to play the minds of the Ghanaian people because they know Ghanaians are very upbeat about anything that will improve the economy. And that language, that huge propaganda, that thing that looks like true, really worked on the minds of Ghanaians. And that is why I think that it is going to be a very difficult thing. And let me tell you, that particular project you are talking about, the market, the 24-hour markets, the modern markets, and the structure of this, the things that they are talking about, if you read it very well, and most of the things they are doing around are what do you call it, the World Bank's projects. These are World Bank recommended projects that fall under the SOCO projects. Okay? If you take, for instance, let me just digress for 1 second and come back. If you take the Bokuri Vitalization Fund, for instance, the program itinerary, the synopsis of that particular program is verbatim to some extent to the dictates of the World Bank, project. So that is exactly the modus operandi of the NDC. They don't have the expertise, they don't have the clout, the ability to turn the whole thing around, and so they are going to pussyfoot around existing issues, and for that matter, it won't work. 24-hour markets is completely out of touch. It can't work in the Upper East. I don't see, if you go to Boko, which is a municipality, or Navrongo, where somebody will wake up at night, Gerard, and say he's going to buy tomatoes just because there's a market operating in the night.
Are we probably getting the understanding of the 24-hour wrong? Maybe in their purview, it's completely different from how the ordinary Ghanaian thinks about what 24 hours means. Do you think we are getting it wrong?
We will not take any definition, even in text, okay? We will not take any definition, even in text, of how it applies to other jurisdictions, either than taking what they themselves prescribe for us. They told us it was going to be one week. You are a journalist. You are at A1 Radio. You will come in the morning, maybe to 8 to 5 or something. I will take over from 5, to maybe midnight, and then somebody will take it there to the next morning. This is what they said, and that is the prescription. And they said that organizations were not going to operate 24-hour economy, and they were going to get incentives of security, incentives of maybe tax incentives and all of that to allow them to run. When you have a country that cannot boast of 20 effective, functional, factories, right? 20 effective, functional Ghanaian-owned factories. That was the mentality for which 1D, 1F came about. If your production base cannot be essential enough to meet the needs of your people, if you are still ordering things like toothpicks, and you cannot have domestic institutionalization of companies, industry to manufacture, you don't tell me about 24-hour economy. Okay, apart from security that needs 24 hours, apart from health that needs 24 hours, education, maybe to some extent, but I'm not even saying that to what extent will you do education 24 hours, but let's grant that it is in education. How can you tell me that Agric will go through education? And I read their document, and Agric is part of it to do 24-hour economy. To export what? Where? So it is a vague thing. They succeeded in hitting us with propaganda. They deceived the Ghanaian people. And actually, I was one of the people very excited about the 24-hour economy to some extent because I thought it was a real deal. But I've just understood that it's a propaganda deal that is packaged just to win votes. Right. And I'm telling you, after now, they will not be able to.
Are there lessons that the NDC are supposed to learn from the implementation of your flagship program, the Free Senior High School, and the manner in which you implemented it? The 24-hour economy is a flagship program of the NDC, which the NPP continues demanding for its implementation. Today it's here. But do you think that the rush, this can be slowed and done right better than how the Free Senior High School policy was implemented in a rush, and we can all attest to some of the challenges that came up eventually?
I have had that concern, and my concern is this. It appears the NDC really didn't learn, because if they had learned, you bring 24-hour economy, and I am yet to see them put a figure around it. When you put a figure around it, I am pretty sure that it is going to be very monumental. Now, in that monumental figure, they still want to do what we call the big push. The big push is also another thing, very huge. And that huge account, for instance, they said they were going to spend 10 billion cedis in 2025. As we ended for big push, as we ended 2025, they have not been able to spend the 10 billion. And you know how much they've budgeted to spend this year, 2026? They've budgeted to spend 30.8 billion cedis. And I'm saying, the 10 billion, you couldn't spend on, you couldn't raise the money to spend. Is it the 30 billion you can now spend? You are bringing 24-hour economy into it. When you lump up big, massive projects like that, what you are doing is that you are losing focus. Right. You don't understand exactly what it is. We saw it with 1D, 1F. We saw it with One Village, One Dam. We saw it with, Free SHS. When all our resources went into some, few projects. And what was the impact? That was why Ghanaians got angry. They thought we should have prioritized, we should have done our homework and done things right. That didn't happen. And of course, that is the things that I think the NDC didn't learn. Right. 24-hour economy hasn't demonstrated, they haven't demonstrated they haven't demonstrated anything that shows that they are coming to do anything proper for this economy. Right. Not at all. Not in what we see currently.
Andrew, we are very grateful for speaking to us this morning. We'll make time to further this conversation.
Thank you very much.
Right. So that is Andrew Atariwene. What do you make of his commentary as well? Well, so his concern is that projects are huge. Yeah. Can you prioritize?
Yeah, so I definitely agree when people say that governments over the years have always tried to lump so many big projects together. And the problem happens when the government is trying to fulfill its campaign promise, forgetting that there's a difference between being in power and trying to implement strictly what you said in the campaign. It's not going to happen that way. I think that if government has even one project or one policy that it uses to achieve a lot of transformation in the economy, Ghanaians should definitely clap for that government. I don't know why consistently we are trying to go strictly to the manifesto or go strictly to the campaign promise. It is obvious to me and any other person that the government at the moment is trying to force out or push itself to achieve the so-called 24-hour economy that it promised. It is true that the government had a good intention, and I think that there are certain areas in government where government can still push the 24-hour economy. But of course, it's not for every other area in the economy to achieve that. It's not going to work. You cannot be talking about markets where you are I had the person spoke to earlier.
Yeah.
He spoke about
Benjamin.
He spoke about toilets.
Yeah, fire service stations.
What is that? When the markets are burning, of course, fire service was nearby to come attend to it. I don't know why. Even if the markets we are having incidences of fire. We want to create a fire station around there. Whether 24-hour market or not, we need one there. So it should not always be the case. I think government can push this idea by prioritizing where it wants to implement this policy. You can create incentives in places where they are always running 24 hours, so they can benefit from it. Other than that, you have to admit that the manner in which you intended is not going to work based on feasibility that you have done. But instead, we will transform the economy through A, B, C, D policy. And I think that's what Ghanaians want to see. You cannot consistently be pushing monies to the areas where people don't see anything out of it. It's not going to work. I think the government has to look at it properly. I also think that it is important that the political parties understand that it gets to a point where you cannot be reacting to the opposition. Don't think that because the opposition is going to criticize you, you're going to be reacting. So it pushes you to do things that you don't intend to do. You must admit that certain areas are there, you got it wrong. Or maybe it's not possible to implement. Right. And we move ahead. We ought to be honest with ourselves. There are so many issues in this country that we need to resolve.
Honesty really work well in politics.
So you see, honesty in the sense that I'm not asking you to come and tell me that one of your ministers is corrupt. And then, okay, so he's stealing money. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you promise a policy.
Yeah.
The manner in which the policy is going or how you have looked at it, it's not going to work that way. So you ought to communicate to the people. At the moment, this policy, based on feasibility, you cannot achieve it this way. We can achieve it the other way. And so, instead of saying 24-hour economy, we want to transform the economy through agri. And these are the A, B, C, D policies we're going to put in place. So that people in Bongo, people in Sandema, people in Navrongo can benefit through A, B, C, D process. We're discussing issues about irrigation and tomatoes in Upper East. I think that's an area where we can do a lot. The Tono Dam can still be irrigated as far as Mombisi if you want to build canals to get there. We can push a lot of the Tulu area. There's vast land there where we can get people to go into agriculture. We can do that. And these are things that people will see tangibly, rather than trying to force them to believe that we promise 24-hour economy and it is working. It's not going to work that way. Governments over the years have always tried to push policies that they know are failing. And they are pushing out of monies and they're still failing. And they're pushing more just to achieve a campaign promise. I think it's not working for us.
Is it probably because that is where the money would go to, and that is where maybe some funds can be drawn from?
Well, so I was coming to that. In the end, monies are pushed there. Government officials or individuals get there, siphon the money, and in the end, we don't find anything out of it. There were issues about one village, one dam, where we gave dams to party apparatchiks to go and dig or go and bring dugouts, and in the end, some of them collapsed. Some of them didn't have the experience to do it, and in the end, we lost money. That's what I'm saying. And some of these issues, I don't know how you're going to prosecute people. They went into a policy that it didn't work, so we have back and forth here and there. The money is gone. I think that this government owes the people a responsibility. It is not going to be business as usual. The people of Ghana will appreciate the government if the government admits that at this stage we cannot do it this way, but we want to do it in this other way. It might not christen a 24-hour economy, but of course it intends to transform the economy. I think Ghanaians will be happy with that government. We don't need to be discussing things that we know that are going to be white elephants. It's not going to work that way. Nobody's going to come out in Upper East, in Boga at midnight to buy tomatoes, to buy onions. It's not going to happen. He's not going to do it because they can buy it in the daytime and use it if you have to wake up at dawn and use it. Why do you have to go there at midnight? Why?
If you're joining us, this is A1 Radio. This is a conversation segment, and we just have the editorial for today. We started off with roads. Now we are on the 24-hour economy authority bill which has been signed into law, and so activities are going to kickstart. I'm here with Atura Yam. He is regular commentator here, and then we had on phone Benjamin Atwasi, the Deputy Communications Officer for the NDC in the Upper East Region, and also Andrew Atarawini, former Deputy Communications Director for the NPP in the Upper East Region. Just 2 days ago, we woke up to the news again that the CJ, following the petitions that were sent to the president, requesting for the removal for the EC chair and her deputies and the OSP, he didn't find that there was no prima facie case that was found. That means there was no cause for removal found in the documents. This message has been received from where you stand differently. Some are excited about the news, some are not too much excited about the news. As a political commentator and analyst, what do you make about the decision from the CJ, which was accepted by the president, and how that is build our democracy as a people and the image we have on the international front?
Well, so I think that when I heard it myself, I was a bit surprised. Why I was surprised is that I thought that we are building a country where we hear the charges in opposition, and when they come to power, they implement. So you have expected that, or many people's expectation was that the EC boss and his deputies, her deputies, I beg your pardon, are going to go. So it was something that I put in my mind that, okay, maybe in the end, when these petitions come, when it was announced last year, I think somewhere in November or December, it was going to be that the EC boss will go. Many people even said that the removal of the CG was a condition to remove the EC boss. So the conversation.
And we actually saw some commentary from government officials to suggest that.
But it was good.
Yes.
It's a precursor to what was going to happen. So when I heard the announcement, I was particularly surprised. But of course, I think, and that's me, and this is just an opinion I'm sharing. I think that this is something that I don't have the facts, but I'm saying that this could just be a CJ that is doing his job. He looked at the issues that were brought before him as a lawyer, as an experienced judge. He went through the issues mandated by the Constitution to go around it, and looked at them, and they didn't make the cut. Of course, many people in Ghana believe that when you make rhetorics or when you say things, I try to say on the street talk, it constitutes premise or basis for which certain actions can be taken when you're in power. So I want to see that maybe the CJ just did his job by just looking at the facts before him, because he says that he looked at the facts before him, and based on those facts, he felt that it didn't establish a wrongdoing where there should be a committee set up to remove those, I want to investigate those 3 persons. Right. So I want to admit that it could be that the CJ was just doing a job. Secondly, I can also say that maybe the petitions that went to the CJ were the petitions that didn't have merit. Maybe they didn't hit what he expected to see. So possibly we are going to see other petitions that will come that will cause the removal. Because don't forget, there is a certain perception around people that the NDC wants to get the CG, the EC boss out. And this, for the NDC to have the opportunity, and having done that, it means that maybe the facts were not so strong, and that there are petitions that will subsequently come, maybe from the party or other individuals who may cause the removal of the CG. But there is something that I also think might have happened. It could be a situation where the NDC were trying to, or have been trying to cleanse themselves of the saying that they are empowered to remove persons that are from independent bodies. The perception that people have held about the NDC and the removal of these bodies have been countless. The party made those statements in opposition. The CJ has been removed. People have said a lot of things about it, and the NDC is put on the chopping board, being accused of trying to run down these very important independent institutions. Don't forget that the last time this if you recollect the corruption index, the NDC lost.
Yes.
And one of the issues why it lost ground was because of the role of the CG. Of course, it was clearly mentioned that it was politically motivated. So I may think that maybe this is an attempt to try and cleanse the NDC of any other political motivation or how people may perceive them in future. But many people have also said that this could also be a manifestation of the cracks in the NDC. Maybe. Because there's been this talk that there's a difference between the party's position and the government's position. NDC party and the government are always seem as if they are in conflict. If you remember, the NDC's general secretary, chairman, made statements to the effect that the EC boss should go. The general secretary made same statements. If you remember, even Rashid Tanko made the same statements about she going and her deputies. Now today, it looks like the government position is that the CG has not, the EC boss hasn't done anything wrong, and so he should remain in power. Maybe it is an attempt to remove or an attempt to disagree with the party position. Just yesterday, I think I heard Yusuf Hussein say that it looks to him that the EC boss crime or the petition against the EC boss was more injurious and dangerous than the CJ. I heard him. So he insisted that the CJ was removed on issues that were not as serious as the EC boss. Yes, we found nothing wrong with it.
That's maybe trivial issues.
So I'm saying that this may be a manifestation of maybe the government's position against the party position. But in all, I think that what we must all understand is that it is different to say that I think that the EC boss must go, and then the fact that the EC boss must go based on the issues that are spelled out in Article 146. Stated misbehavior, corruption, infirmity. These are things that the Constitution has given to protect the Commission. And so the CJ might have looked at these issues and counted them as things that don't matter. But of course, I think that the party NDC from its rhetoric all this while has attempted to make a statement that the EC boss is not worth the position that she's carrying and her deputies, and so they must go. The government's position today is that the CJ has given a verdict on it, and that should be the case. So I think that all in all, we have to wait and see whether there will be other participants. But of course, the CJ has made a point, and we have to go with it.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is very interesting because for me and from where I sit, and for the ordinary Ghanaian who looks at democracy, I was scared at a point, because if a government comes and chooses to take out persons in independent positions, then it means it's more like a precedent that has been set, and that means that the next government that comes, the likelihood of them also replacing their own is paramount, and that would not inure well to our democracy, especially if it has to do with the Electoral Commission.
That is true.
As you mentioned, we cannot determine, we haven't had access to the petitions that were presented to the CJ for his perusal. But then if the CJ comes out with this verdict, it means that maybe the cases did not hold substance. They didn't really check the boxes that he wanted to tick for it to be determined that, let's set up an independent committee to further investigate this for that. But for me, the president coming out to abide by the CJ's recommendation is what stands out for me.
Yeah, it's a feather in his cap. I think that he hasn't. I must admit that they might have agreed on what they were going to say or what would be the case before even they announced it. That's a fact. But it's a feather in the president's cap that he's obeyed the CJ's position on this matter. And so he admits that there's no further issue. The matter has been closed. What, for me, is the interest is that many people are saying, and as I've heard some of the lawyers say, that the petition before the CJ, the issues about the EC boss that were discussed were more serious than the issues that were discussed with the CJ, who was removed. So is it that there was an attempt to say that we don't want to do this any longer, where we want to be removing, as you are saying, removing independent bodies that will create a cycle in future? Or is it that it was just really based on the fact? Because sometimes it's not always about law. Politics counts. You have to gauge the political environment or gauge the conversation around the whole issue and take a decision. if making the statement that the EC's position, I mean the EC's crime or accusations were more serious than the CJ, and the EC hasn't gone, then it tells you that possibly, that's just me, I could be wrong, possibly it's a political decision rather than a legal one, because the government is gauging a certain position that, I mean, of course, the country index will accuse the government of being political about that. So government wants to remove itself from this conversation, and I think that the NDC itself, as a political party, is trying its best to remove itself from the conversation of we are abusing power, we are being corrupt, we are overdoing it. So I think that this is a position that I want to see it possibly as a political position rather than a legal one, because the party itself is already under pressure for taking a decision like that in the past. So I think that definitely we should look at it properly. The EC, the position is just one of those positions that we don't want people changing governments with the EC bosses. And so for the government decision, I commend it. But I hope that it should be at the end to the problem. We don't have to see petitions in the future.
Well, you can't stop the petitions from going, but the petitions will continue flying in. But we have a CJ, we have a president that would always refer some of the petitions for the removal of heads of some of these independent state institutions to the CJ and his team for them to review before a final decision is made.
But I also think that the EC itself has to
work on it.
On itself. It's very important. You don't have a commission that is so inconsistent. You are hearing issues here and there. They seem not to be following what they themselves are doing. In the last one, when after making an announcement there's not going to be any rerun, you announce a rerun again. So you see, when you do that, you create an impression among the people that you yourself are not consistent. And so that mentality around it has to change. People have to have trust in the EC. The NDC before election made a statement that if the EC results are going to go to court, they will not go to court because they didn't trust the EC and they didn't trust the court. Since institutions are supposed to be independent, are supposed to be institutions that people are going to be able to have confidence in and listen to, understand them. So I think that definitely the EC itself has to work on itself. Try as much as possible to create conditions that don't lead suspicion in the activities. I think that's the only way that we can have a credible EC moving towards the number of elections that we have.
This is A1 Radio and this is the editorial. We're just having conversations generally about the big issues that happened in the course of the week. And I'm here with Atur Ayam. He is a political commentator here and a very regular contributor to this network. Ayam, another issue that I think happened this week or so last week was the decision to take Ken's name, the former finance minister's name, out of the red notice. Is it Interpol red notice? Yeah. And then there seemed to be an argument that for now he can even apply to seek asylum in the U.S. This would be another blow to the government, considering that there had been this strong positioning to get him back into the country by all means necessary. This was also heightened by the position of the OSP. I have been thinking and reading through the reason for, and also reading through the international repatriation laws, which says that if someone is believed that if he returns to his, I'm just paraphrasing, returns to his home country and the situation for which he's supposed to be returned is politically ill motivated, then the person can choose to seek asylum in the country of his refuge, and then other processes can take. Can we say that the government, its commentators, and the OSP probably armed Ken's case and gave him the leeway with the position we took in trying to get him into the country again? Yeah,
it's one of those things that I found a bit unfortunate. I believe that as a country, we had a problem where a finance minister, the conversation around him was that he had run the economy aground, there were a lot of crimes that he had committed, in decisions that he had taken, and so he was wanted for questioning. When he was out there, or when he went out there, the decisions, the conversations back and forth did not come to me as though it was an attempt to really get him to come and answer questions, but it as if there was a certain political backing, and there was a creation of that narrative within the national environment that he was wanted based on political issues rather than accounting. You see, consistently, the OSP looked like he was more or less threatening the person. This will happen, that will happen. And so the entire conversation around was as though he was being persecuted. If you remember, he had asked the OSP to even travel to hear him out there. I don't know why the OSP did not go. And then subsequently, when government took over the entire case, the conversation around this was that he was running away, and looked like there was a consistent a conversation around the fact that the person, when he comes to this country, will be arrested.
Yeah.
This is the problem that most people saw.
And picketing at the US embassy.
Giving credence to the conversation that his lawyers were making, that has been persecuted. I heard one of the lawyers say that there were MPP members who have been arrested in Ghana and have could not even meet their bail conditions. That was what will happen to Ken if he comes. So the narrative out there was that he was being persecuted. Given that even the CDO, the fact that being there was going to be one of the things to save himself from political persecution. Now, they are moving from the red alert. It means that the basis upon which we requested for he being put there, the Interpol itself agrees that we have no basis. That in itself throws opens the floodgates. Because right now, the options that are available to him, most of us as Ghanaians wanted to come account. Come and sit down and tell people how you used ABCD. That was it. But now we have given opportunity for him to make arguments that he's been persecuted. And so the national police have begun to agree with him. There's a persecution going on. And removing him is first indication. As you are saying, he can seek asylum now. So the entire conversation that I'm looking for Ken may not even find in the end. I don't know. But the lawyers have said we can try Ken in absentia.
Yeah.
Why don't you prove to the Ghanaian that these are the facts that we are holding Ken to? And so if we can hold Ken to these facts, that a court or competent jurisdiction finds him guilty, then we can be able to say, okay, these are the things that he did. Other than that, our consistent conversation is that he has done something. We are looking for him to come and account. And as if he's not there, we cannot do that. I think that we have to look at it properly. Let's not get an impression out there that there's a certain Ghanaian who has said this. We think that he has done A, B, C, D wrong, and we are pushing him out there. And the international community is protecting him as if he's an asylum seeker. That's not what we do in this country. People don't run away from this country and go and look for them. And we don't have that kind of conversation. Even with the previous appointee who was away, I don't think that we went through all these problems to find her. What I think that we should do now is that right now that we have moved for the Interpol alert, if we can get him to come to Ghana, we should get him. If we cannot get him, let's do what the lawyers say, prosecution absentia. I don't know if that's
yes,
right.
because I've heard, prior even to this entire conversation where his name had to be taken out of the red notice, there were some lawyers, learned lawyers, who argued that there are different approaches to this particular situation, especially at the time he said he was ill and was seeking medical care. Some lawyers proposed that if he has to be prosecuted or listened to, that can take place in absentia.
Okay.
Fortunately, now with technology, even when he was being tried on in the U.S. court after whatever happened to him, we from Ghana, those who had the link watched the court proceedings via the internet, and so that means that there's been a creation where we can get access to him and still have a trial go on. The woman, is it the Sedinam Tamaklo?
Yes.
She was tried in absentia. So why can't we do same to him? And that's why people are just asking the question: is this not more than just inviting someone to answer questions, but maybe trying to prove a fact, a point, and maybe to fulfill a promise again to the Ghanaian that we said we're going to bring him in, and we have succeeded in bringing him in?
Yeah, so that's what I've been saying. I think that we have to disassociate what we say on the campaign platform and what we do when we come to power. We ought to be careful with when we're in power, the decisions that we take. I think that we could have gotten him, prove to the Ghanaian that he's guilty, even though he's not here. I think we could have done that. But of course, what we are doing is that consistently we are making conversations out there that seem to create an impression that he's being persecuted. And that mindset itself is not working for the Ghanaian. It's not helping the process. That is what I refer to when I say that it is important for us to consistently engage him, even though he's not here. If we can try in absentia, let's do that. Because as it stands now, the mindset among people is that he's being persecuted. That persecution itself is not helping. That persecution tag is not helping the nation. We have to raise issues where political parties must understand that what you say in a campaign is not the same thing when you are in government. I heard the Attorney General say that some of the cases that they have brought are not really things that they can.
And I think a lot of people are asking questions about the oral.
Yes, so it is something that we must admit. It happens when on a campaign platform, when we are in opposition, we hear a lot of things that are not true, or maybe cannot stand the test of time. When we come to power, we have to change it now. And I think that the consistent tag of persecution is not helping. Removing you from the red alert is one of the situations where people are using as a base against the government, that upon all that you achieved with the red alert, the Shah communities are agreeing or are saying that they are not, or he's not supposed to be on red alert. So it's a dent on the government's credibility or the president prosecutor's credibility. I think that if we can try and access, let's do that. Find him guilty and find ways of getting him to come and answer. Other than that, I think that we're going around circles and we're not going to achieve anything with it.
This is A1 Radio 101.1. Before we further the conversation, let me remind you of the largest gathering of market actors in Ghana, which is happening this March in Tamale. World Vision Ghana's Thrive 2030 project presents Ghana National Market Actors Forum, and they are calling for exhibitors be part of a powerful national platform that brings together producers, buyers, investors, processors, policy makers and development partners to strengthen market linkages and unlock inclusive economic growth. The venue for this event is at the Modern City Hotel in Tamale from the 24th to the 26th of March 2026. Why should you apply? They are calling for exhibitors and vendors in the following sectors to apply: the value chain sector, which include crop and plant-based value chains, livestock and animal-based value chains, processing and agro-industrial value chains, handicrafts and creative value chains. They are also calling for market actors to be exhibitors. These include buyers and off-takers, aggregators and traders, processors and manufacturers, input suppliers, financial service providers, and more. They are also seeking the market service providers to apply to be exhibitors. They include logistics, packaging, certification, and quality assurance, and others. They are also calling on institutions such as Corporate Ghana, NGOs, development partners, policy makers, and regulators to also apply. Join the team in Tamale and be part of the forum that turns market opportunities into real growth for businesses, farmers, and communities. Registration and enquiries, you can call Priscilla on 054-791-7817 or John on 024-350-7669 and Joseph on 024-117-8948. Sasso is the best insecticide spray and mosquito coil in Ghana, protecting you and your family from mosquitoes and other insecticides without causing headaches and nasal congestions. Sasso is a multi-purpose insecticide spray that leaves sweet-scented, clean lemon scent after use. You can get Sasso from any shop near you. You can call 050-1454462 for more details. So I want to take a final concluding remarks from Ayam as he takes leave of us. Ayam, so in all that we've spoken about, what would you want to say to the people of Ghana listening to us?
Yeah, so I think that basically I think that campaign promises should not be the basis of which you should implement policies. The policies ought to be implemented based on facts, based on the issues that will benefit the people. Consistently, we have been doing that over the years. The previous government did the same thing. This government seems to be repeating the same action. I think that should change. I think that the policies should be directed towards the people's concern, what the people really want to do in transformation. I think that's very important, rather than trying to fulfill a campaign promise.
Right. Thank you very much, Mariam, for joining. We will be back after this commercial break to continue discussion here in studio.
Are you planning to build a house or any structure and you are looking for an affordable cement to buy? I recommend Savannah Diamond Cement for all your cement works. Savannah Diamond Cement is of high quality, gives good results after use, and yet it is affordable across Ghana. Works done with Savannah Diamond Cement are able to stand all weather conditions for many years. Savannah Diamond Cement is a proud Ghanaian product from the Savannah Diamond Company Limited at Bupe in the Savannah region. Savannah Diamond Cement can be found in all cement shops in
Saturday between the hours of 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Visit William Particles today for your medical solutions. Call 0243-429-302.
Premium multiple layer sumo super tank from now till the end of the Ghana month nationwide. Yes, let's celebrate our heritage together. Built with advanced multi-layer technology and reinforced for superior durability, Sumo Super is designed to last, giving you peace of mind for your home, business and project. Don't miss this limited time offer. Visit any Polytank outlet today, ask for Sumo Super and save over 1,000 Ghana cedis. Polytank, the original, always the best. Papano Ankasa Ankasa. Beware of frosters. Polytank does not request for Momo online. Well, welcome back to the conversation segment. We want to further discussion here in studio this morning, and we have a team already seated to talk to us about a program that they are carrying out here within the Upper East region. We are going to speak to representatives from Joy of the Lord Missions. It's an organization that has been operating and has impacted communities in the Kumasi and Bono East environs, and they are expanding their outreach to Bogatanga, and they have an event that is taking place on the 21st of February 2026 at the Big Boss Park in Wikongo. This event is going to do a lot of things, but we'll just be introducing them, and then we can speak further about this particular project that is going to take place on the 21st. I guess that is tomorrow, right? Yes, that's tomorrow. Great. So you may want to know more about this because you want to be present at the Wikongo, that's a Big Boss Park, tomorrow to be part of this program. So I have in studio with me Akolbila Raphael Azan Lerbila. I hope I got the name right. Forgive me. And then we have Greta. Okay, Greta. Right. The other name, I'll let you do the pronunciation yourself. We have Theresa Sapon, who is the executive director, and we also have Brother Evans, who is the local ambassador. Gentlemen and ladies, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Let's talk about the Joy of the Lord Missions, and it's been operating since 2003. What has been the motivation for the establishment of this organization? So I think this question will go to Theresa Sapon, who is the executive director.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm Theresa Sapon. My name is Theresa Sapon, founder and executive director of Joy of the Lord Missions, and in short form, JOLM. So we started the operation 2013. It's more than 10 years now, more than 1 decade. And by the grace of God, we've been able to reach out to many, many communities, especially here in Ghana. Basically, beginning of our foundation, we started in South, meaning Kumasi. We did some outreach in Hwidiam and Accra, and mostly Bono Ahafo region. But by the grace of God, God has heard our cry, and He extended our love to Bolgatanga this year. So we are here to support the community and to give helping hand to the community to support them.
Right. We'll have our Kolbila Raphael interpreting it into the local dialect.
Bilika yazawawe made azanlebila Raphael akolbila te ma inde mina iso bahwa torbora to yera na yene nongre mbu tubadeke paala be badeke tona bora to anse te etiba po la yoma intole la pa yumpia unwana be lede yumpia unwana intole to pin ba pin la ba po kuma hatenga yang ka ba ma za wa ba king Accra ba king Huidiem yang mole na indi lo bo gete ba nu yang song nerba te na la nimbo zor la zula te ba yang yet ba yo ba kun kama yang pa te ma bol ka duma so lo wa mena yang de ke songre yang pa te ma la tan no mala za.
Let's talk about the impact of your project over the years since you started operations in the Bono and the Kumasi environs. What has been the impact stories? Because we know you attend largely to widows, orphans, and then the vulnerable in society. What has been the impact story?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. We've impacted so many people, so many lives over the years. Most of our missions, we outreach to the hospital. Sometimes we even approach the hospitals and find out that different ones are not able to pay for the hospital bills, which we reach out to them. We also collaborating with one of the major hospitals in Koranza called St. Teresa's Hospital. We've been able to provide an ultrasound machine, medication. In fact, we do have HPIC in Canada, which support us with all the medication, medical supplies and all that. So whenever the Lord provides for us, we also been able to help them. We've been able to put young ones that do not have any trade or professions into videography, schooling, some hairdressing, and some of them have completed and started their own business to be able to take care of themselves and their children. And also for the widows, we've been able to set up some small businesses for them because we believe if they're able to do some trade, they can also take care of their children and put them through education. Many children are in our program that we take care of them throughout the year by putting them through schooling. With the little ones, we give them uniforms, pencils, crayons, whatever they need to take care of, not normal living life for the education. We've been able to help them. Sick ones, like disabled individuals, we provide wheelchairs, accessibility for them. Children that are not been able to attend to school because of whatever obstacles, we do help them by going to school and assess the school to see if there should be any without illness. We raise up some fund by God's grace. We're going to put him through surgery coming up, scheduled surgery maybe next month. So like that, we've been able to try and help. Whatever the Lord provides is what we give. And by the grace of God, we've been able to stretch out our hands to many children, adults in the community, and people living with disabilities.
Right.
Te sela ta tora kala de la asokin la ya bama yetu bade nyengo tuntun mo bayang engla beni ta eti bapo na yeda na de kuma tinga tuyang po bini nerba ima ahyala bayang dohuba tuwa deke no zukurita wala St. Teresa Hospital mbo kuma tinga nkranza yang sungra ba te nerseba nka yang behba menga ka yang yoba dota ligri ba sesi tuwa tara dota ila bani yang deke yo yang do sungba bini tuwa yang yo bamukele man sungra suku koma wo nerseba nka yang king suku te lare la maybe dan sere dango mbo bini be yo azuta kan yang e ban kel yang do bini kel yang sungba yang yoge kele ma yang king sukula nersa bazan wa me inde la baka kin suku gi batala tomato wa tomba kel yang sungba be sala bo wat yang ton we ayit ben batar sera de ala benizu zina ber water jawa bata nerba zozo to dik bat wa de nersa ba ndutu zu la yo la zozo sawan pere lo orzan wa be ba ing balazan wa me to yang sungba sent ba wang behra ba menga la ba buri la ba komazan wa be sala so la ba mi sala inkene te kalanta haba yang eng balamta kilima yiti tanno malaza wa me baraki bakille ma yang sungra bame benizu nersaban de tanno magafara ge ho yiti nersaban de korno bayang buba kikeme dan sire bakayang kina sukula bakaya bakatar salat la wadik wa king sukula zu bawo yang buba koron ke kila to bayang king ta yiti ben nkurana tinga baken taran neraima la de la bado mabana bado ombana yela sia nkabu apo tinita yeti wando obia dansire gafar glatande tour mbo dansire biela ma pour la pola te dang da bonne bino be do la ponte dang bonne bino batar biya ma balta o king sejre mar seka ter yeter longwa te biela wan king ta yang en operation la benzo na yin nimbo zolle zutu yang la aligri yang be bon en se yang song ner ba ma zan wa te ba po yang etata na yin yang song ba to yang en yili se zan wa be mbala.
Right. Why the Upper East region? Why are you extending your project to the Upper East region this year?
That's a good question. Thank you. I believe God has sent me here. My vision is to go around the world. One village, one city, one country at a time. I believe this is the right time. I was in Ghana about 2 months ago. We did the biggest outreach in southern part of Ghana. And upon returning back to Canada, I had that impression on my heart, like such an urge in my heart to come to Bolgatanga. I could not sleep until I purchased my ticket. The day I bought my ticket, that dream stopped. So I believe God is leading me here because Bolgatanga is also in need of God, and in a sense, they need our help as well. There are so many kids that we've witnessed since we've been here for the last few days in the schools. Some don't even have shoes. Some have problem with their eyes. Which eyes, with some conditions like that, we give them, prescription glasses. So there are so many needs in the community. And I believe God is going to use Joy of the Lord Missions in this town, in this part of the Ghana, to help those that are in need. So that's why God has brought us. Bolgatanga do need Joy of the Lord Missions. Right. They do need God as well.
It is salam bobile de la the so hala so kunya benzu ta lu bolka tingawa taiti adawa am bolka be Ghana tingawa marsi yin to legite nganda ta lebe Canada tingala la rata de la zang mbo asur point zang la selata da ko na de bolka tarabala tengata ma lu play le tikiti yeti a lewe Ghana na ti zang la da toke so inga mi gi saksara yeti le din na wana dabsa fiwa bayang dohu sukutu basaba yang kabe ba dohu la bayeti nerba bobini taran nini dango ba boyeti nerba bobini suku koma bobini kinana bela bakata tara wampira bayeti suku koma bobini bakatar bage bandikle mu bor ka deke ingta de ba tapot wa deke ba bukse ta bini ta kina sukuto bayeti suku koma bobini to uniform sa anza awabe to bangeti uwayi sela to bota nwana so inga yeti bol kasin de ze sekatin na yin suru bona bini dele bini na yin inyang dik yel dina be zertun in asuru po ta ga ka gebu zu tarbala ta yantang ma atiktila la palitin na yin insirin terti yele inta te awa ambol kona balazu inga porpe yela na yin inyang sungwe gitaran wa tizen kala onola.
Right. Let's talk about the event tomorrow. What should the beneficiaries and the general public expect? What is going to happen there tomorrow at the park?
Yes, tomorrow morning, God willing, we'll all be gathered at 7 o'clock in the morning. So as soon as you enter the park, we are hoping to serve whoever comes in the morning with breakfast, bread and tea. So from morning to 9 is breakfast time. So once the kids have eaten or the adult have gotten something in their stomach, we're going to go on with the program. Starting at 9 o'clock, we'll open with prayers and praises, having everybody come out and rejoice and dance. Then the program will start. We have some games, activities, different games for different age categories. And then once the game starts, we're going to go on and then give some prizes for those individuals that do win the game. We have pencils, crayons, erasers, anything that has to do with stationary items, we're going to give it away. And we have some clothes for the children that need clothes, shoes for people that don't have shoes. So as the games goes on, we also going to share the word of God. I believe, giving out the wisdom of God also will help the little children. So we're going to share the word of God, and also we are going to rejoice in the presence of God. And the program will continue until the end, about 4 o'clock.
And how do you identify beneficiaries for this particular event tomorrow?
That we will identify the beneficiaries.
Okay.
We do have wheelchairs with us. We have walker. We have different devices with us. So in there we can spot who really needs it. Okay. Urgent need. The ones that don't have urgent need, will take their names. We have a truck, a container load of wheelchairs in Koranza. Either we'll send it by a truck to come. He's our representative here in Bolgatanga, which is Mr. Raphael, and they can give it out. Or also, we've been attending different schools. The teachers, we gave them to give us a list because they know their kids more than we do. We only there temporary. So they will give us a list of these needy children, and then we'll reach out to the teachers. We'll send the need to Mr. Raphael. Mr. Raphael will communicate with the teachers and support them throughout the year.
Right.
So salampa habila de la asokya berwa tenerwa be yerana la akwapo be ituba be nyala be ni tuba natwa ma tuba be onyala bere ta son kala de la bere ba be hanta poral bulika karha yopo inde bulika ma hare ba boti ba bo nero la no sare inde ti la burbur bere bulika ta para karha wai ba po de ngla yet la pom la poskop o kula de bin ba bo na yin fara la na yin yambu ba yo la sankanga la te na yin yang bonal bala ba hanta ba o kula mita fin wala ba yan wade kai pekala na ako yoma yang wa abina ti de ngo la yela zo yang wa na to ba hanta ba hala ba digi de ngo bo po bon kurba la kom bibila kom saban de bun bibila ba ga hu ba zen ba ma ba zun se la ba wen de se to ba hanta ba hala ba bo wore be ba bo lu la ba sama nyang dimi ala to ba hanta ba hala ba ta lo ye to ba de bun ner saban katar lo oro ba ta tara to ba de ke sung ner saban kata tara te ner saba wo wa abina la ba yang eng balazan wa bo ta ya won tenga suka ba bo ba diame to kele mandi gite te nara program la tarabala ta pa ba ko te aliman pa ayeti bini bayeti ba o bang tarno mo bayeti ba england one yang bang tarno mala ta so kala de la ba wa yin bang tarno mala de la ba bere zan wa be han wa ambina la ba o bang ner saba insere he kornu ke kele ni mo ore la salat ba yire to woka be dan se nerminan tar stroke ta kayan kinat ba yan zehra ba de ke salabun ta yan duura zehra kina fin babu tar ba mazan wa to wayan ba england wan bang ner ban dumo ba be han wa anala ba ma mingala ni hanye ner saka immu ni be ner saka ko he katlare aka en vurknare an kare ko ko sunga minga ba be ner ba madumala digbu bat la hanka seke ba tar container mbo nkranza tenga ta per la wheelchairs la zan wa to wa de du ba point la yang ingwane la yang wa am bol ko tinganan to bodi ba ha manu hin to mam wayang digi song digi bu ner shaba imbo bol ko la sala sola ba ma za wa bla hanta ba hara ba le bi gin wala la git la mama bol ko tinga ba kele ma yiti be ne sukut la me ba kele man ti teacher mala za wa mbo bin la yiti ba man bole suku ko mala ba man yete ko mala mboti sala be ko mala ehi sala ni mure te balala ba yel teacher mala yiti ben ba deke ba za wa bi yura wana saint ba handek ba yura wana la ba yang bang yet wa ile dinner bana benzu ba ma wana be it ba dekla da ba fi ba ko fi wa glilli be gi teacher dum lam bola bala ba ma wan bang ban se ama berla wan kina la de ner mina inhi sala bala yende ne seto duhulen wana ba nini ye saba mo nini era la ba dik bo ba ma dum la yiya geti saba gi pour la ba wa in wane libla ba solunt la wana te ba nu hume gore.
Just a quick one. What's the expectation? The number of people you expect to come out, young kids. How many are you expecting, the turnout?
That's a good question. If I can tell you right now to put a tag on it, I'll be wrong. Most of our events, we just had event less than 2 months ago, 12,000 children on 4-acre land plot. We were expecting only 7. We had 12,000. None of our events is less than 5,000, to be honest. This is our first event. We were able to budget for about 2,000, 2,500 kids and adults. So I cannot tell you if we're going to have 2,000, we're going to have 5,000. But one thing I can tell you is that when we have more crowd, it gives me more zeal to press on, to do more, so I can plan larger for the next thing. It's not me, it's only God. So I don't know how many people will attend, but I will encourage everybody who needs the touch of God, because we call ourselves God's love in action. In order for us to show the love of God to different ones, we have to exhibit it in our action to show that this is how God loves me, by giving. So I want to give. You come, join us. We want to show that love to you.
That crowd would mean that you're working with some partners, with the local partners, to help you manage the crowds that would come in. And if someone intends to volunteer for tomorrow's event and is listening to us, if anyone has any support to give, is it acceptable?
100%. We will love that. In the past years, we've had local people who said, I'm so amazed by what you're doing. Remember, one person can only do so much. But collaboration, when we all come together, we can reach far. If somebody has a desire to support, please, by all means, we'll put our numbers on the line. Help us, whether it be monetary, financially, physically, whatever you're able to, you can come in. Call the number. If you need to be a guard, come help us out. Volunteers, come out, help us out. We want to take the opportunity also to thank Big Boss School for the manager there. He's also supporting us. The sport manager also supporting us with some of the kids. But we do need help. Financially, for sure, we do need help. So come out. We can support more. If you run out of food, we just go out and buy some more with whatever you have in mind. And not only that, after we're done with the program, we are not just done with Bolgatanga. The mission continues. So we can always be an impact to different ones that we came across by giving that finances and the support to them. So please do come out and support us.
Right.
So could lay yet I dig bone de la but he let never want it to be one, be born my one, but my lamb one it never want to be one. Te asokala tatarla de la akayanko yetu ai nerba wana sela sola batana mahamat nerbal gang balwan ama nain la nimbo zolezu bahampum zuna sin wana bawa engwane bawa mina bawa inse yang bi nerba mazanwa gafara get ndiki solmini fi pa abini de la eti kuma hatinga be batiki kulaza watu wala harala bakata nye nerba be bakata nye tiki ko to ko de less than be ko kapa nerba 5,000 bokapa nerba 5,000 so bayi hina la bata potin ergimiti ireti tuma bolko sol hanyang to basunga nerbalan la harna sin la nerbalan zuru sin la lan bo la impemsiko ta tirke gliman libna liman paase so yonde na bama potin ire la bawti ese bakati yeti nerba kan wana pa 2,500 ama ba zormi yeti bene ta hanwa zo gangbala wana ti zo gangbala wana saint la wan bo impemsiko ti yonen kena ba mu wayan lelebna so serin le man pa ahla de la te ahi sungurbe eriyeti nermina hambota sungu yel sere po de la maybe oboto lobla la ala sungumbe oboto wana zenkla lo kuna manzeni yang sungu ta yeti beni nerba mazan wabe ti yirba zan wabi yeto wamba to lan sunga dan sero ta la ligri to lan sunga o ta wana ba de ba banga mi ba yeto ola zu te wanta wum banga mi ala hota yi la de la maybe wanta la sala to lan songa to ma bitum bozi awu era songre wayang deket la paba mazan wabe hota lam ba sala na taryang deke la song ba bewta yi banga mi ala yil in huntar sala to yang yil in taliman tore ti dansire wanka tara sala gi era la yin wana diko minga lampa abin la song ti ba dizek lo kuna manzeni ba yang be nerba la yang guda ba songa dansire o de nermina ndi nermina guru nerba be nermina saba polnga be nermina ngwa gura bate suma han bona zin la point hotari yo moto wana yan yelbe to wai made ner kanadana mo yan sung yan wana te bayang ingwane bo yo to yan ing balazan wabe.
You spoke about a number that you have to put out for contact or for support, and can you help us with that number?
Sure.
Right.
My ambassador can do that.
Right.
These are the numbers: 054
ite banga mi la wana zanga banu banahe
10
ayima zanga
32
bata bayi
999
ba wai
054
zanga banu banahe
10
ayima zanga
32
bata bayi
999
ba wai
or 055
bewta yi zanga banu
00
zanga
3 4 0026
bayi bayobi
426
banahe bayobi
055
ota yi zanga banu
00
zanga
26
bayi bayobi
426
banahe bayobi
and then line you call
wa yi ba minawo ya otole.
Right. So it's tomorrow.
Correct.
Great.
God
So
willing.
God willing tomorrow, and you're expecting a lot of people to come. We're hoping to come around to be part of tomorrow's event. Any last word to the people of the Upper East region as we bring this conversation to an end?
Sure. I want to say God loves you all. I do love you all. In fact, this is my first time coming to this part of
Yeah. How has been the experience like? I was going to ask.
I really love it. I love the people of Bolgatanga. So hospitable, very loving, very warm, welcoming. I love the kids, big smile. I love them. I love the land, nice fresh breeze, even though it's dry. But I love Bolgatanga. I look forward to serve you and serve the city.
I hope you've been given the opportunity to taste the cuisine, the local
Not
dishes.
yet. I'm looking forward to it, but not yet.
Raphael, you have a lot of work to do. How about you, Geeta?
Yes, it's a great opportunity God has given me to come and serve people at Bolgatanga. And this is my first mission trip, and Joy of the Lord mission opened the way for me to come. And I'm greatly enjoying, and we visited many schools and see the reality of the need of the people. And I'm very glad what Joy of the Mission is doing in this land. And we love you, Bolgatanga people, and you are great in the sight of God and in the sight of us.
Amen.
Amen. Right, so this is where time would permit us to have conversations this morning. Raphael, Geeta, Theresa, and then Evans. We are very grateful for coming through. And tomorrow we will come around to be part of your event tomorrow.
Yeah.
We will be there.
We look forward to see you all.
Sure.
God bless you, Bolgatanga.
Great.
Love you all.
So that is the Joy of the Lord missions. Tomorrow they're having an event, an outreach program taking place at the Bolgatanga, that's the Wikongo Sports Stadium, that's Ket Okreku Sports Stadium. Yes, just by Big Boss. Yes, the Big Boss Park. So tomorrow, don't miss it. Be there. When you get there, you can offer your help as a volunteer. You can also support them in guiding the children and helping identify and even do properly the registration. They need more helping hands. If you also have anything to support, water, anything, just drive there or send a delegation there, and then they'll receive your contribution, and they'll greatly appreciate it. This is A1 Radio. My name is Gerard Awumbadekasagi. Content for this morning's program was put together by Samuel Kantomse Adagong, and visual support was from Joseph Yaro. Technical support from Kofi Ametepe and also Emmanuel Abuaje. Do enjoy the rest of the day. Today is Friday. Hey, have fun, but be safe. Let's come around. Let's meet ourselves again on Monday. It's going to be a restful weekend, and I hope you make time to rest. Enjoy the rest of the day. Up next is Work and Happiness with Bra Kalala.
Don't talk without him, First two. Tell them something, man. Come on. I do it la mayo, oh la mana, oh la mana, la la basale. I do it la mayo, oh la mana, oh la mana, la la basale. I do it la mayo, oh la mana.